Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. Tipperary have won away at Nolan Park. They've won by a scoreline of 224 to 121. Tipperary record back-to-back wins at the start of the National Hurling League and also a first win at Nolan Park for 15 years, which is actually quite the statistic, really. I can't believe it's 15 years since Tipperary have won away from home at Kilkenny. And that's how it finishes. You can see with the scoreline right there. Huge result in the end for Tipperary. Disappointment for Kilkenny, who were really, really poor in the first half. And it wasn't really until the second half that they really got going and showed the best version of Kilkenny that we're used to seeing. But credit has to go to Tipperary, who I thought were absolutely fantastic today. And who could have known that the older guard, they still have it. They still have it within their lockers. The likes of Nolan McGrath, Seamie Callanan, obviously returning to Tipperary. First time he's started a game for Tipperary, I think going as far back as maybe the league last year. He obviously didn't feature in the championship through injury, so I think it might have been around the start of the league last year that he featured. And he didn't score, Seamie Callanan, but he did set up that opening goal for Jason Ford. It was a great pass inside into Jason Ford, who had Hugh Lawler in front of him. He could have went to his man on the right, but sort of sold him a dummy and then obviously slotted it beyond the Kilkenny goalkeeper to the left of him, really, or to the right of him, I suppose I should say. And Tipperary, where they show that energy, that quickness, that speed and athleticism that you'd normally associate with Liam Cahill's sides. When you've seen Waterford play last year and even the year before, they move the ball quickly. They're on the front foot, and starting games fast, especially in the league, because we've seen Waterford. We've seen them last year do that under Liam Cahill, for example. I mean, they went on to win the league. Liam Cahill now obviously coming in as Tipperary manager and really, really put his foot down, or Tipperary really put their foot down and put the bonnet on it really from the opening whistle in this one. I mean, Jason Ford, outstanding again, Mr. Consistent for Tipperary time and time again. 115, I think, for him. Just looking at it on TG Cahar there, I mean, that was absolutely outstanding. A lot of them were placed balls, but a lot of very good, well-taken points as well. Points in big moments. Connor Bowe, a player who, I remember bursting on the scene around the under-20s the last couple of seasons. We haven't really seen him be able to feature for Tipperary, but he started today, scored 3 points, and I thought he played very well. Jake Morris, he got the second goal for Tipperary. He was very good, 1-2. Alan Tynan in there with a point as well. He had Mark Keogh coming off the bench scoring. So Tipperary, very, very strong from the get-go. And, how many times are we going to say it's early February or it's only the league? I think I'm going to ban that saying from these reactions from now on, because it's all what I say and all what people say. There are a lot of validation to that point, but really, really strong from Tipperary, and looking very good early on, which is good to see, because last year it was just flat the whole way through the league and the championship, wasn't it, from a Tipperary perspective, under Colin Bonner. But under Liam Cahill now, there seems to be a real zip about Tipperary, in fairness. And from a Kilkenny perspective, they just never really got going at all. I think they hit, I think it was 7 or 8 points in the first half. Really, really slow to get going. Billy Drennan again, one of the marksmen for this Kilkenny side, who, to be fair, obviously are missing a lot more players than what Tipperary had. They're certainly missing a couple of players themselves, but they had a lot of star players out there, and Jason Ford, Jake Morris, Nolan McGrath, Seamie Callanan started, whereas Kilkenny obviously don't have TJ Reid, no Owen Cody, no Adrian Mullen. Still a lot of lads to come back in there from a Kilkenny perspective, but Billy Drennan, he put his hand up once again for Kilkenny. And for Derek Ling, maybe nailing down a starting position. 10 points from him. Very impressive again. Mossy Keogh with 1-2. Got himself a goal in around the start of the second half, really, to sort of make this game a bit more of a contest. Billy Ryan and Walter Walsh both on the score sheet as well. And John Donnelly, who came off the bench, 4 points from him. John Donnelly, very underrated hurler for Kilkenny a lot of the time, I've always felt. And again, he came on halfway through the first half for Cian Kenny, I think it was, and again making a big impact there. And yeah, Kilkenny showed a lot more fight in the second half, as you would expect it. I mean, when you're trailing your big rivals Tipperary by, I think it was 9 or 10 points at half time, you're expecting a fight back in the second half. And there certainly was, with Conor Fogarty, John Donnelly getting on the score sheet, Mossy Keown making an impact as well. And they were rushing Tipperary into mistakes, and there was definitely a bit more of a flatness about Tipperary in the second half as opposed to the first. And whether that was because of the big lead or maybe it was due to, Kilkenny just really sort of rushing them off the ball and brought a bit more fight, especially around midfield. Conor Fogarty, I felt, started making a lot more of an impact in the game. So, yeah, look, not the, from a Kilkenny perspective, they won't be too happy with how this game has gone. Losing to your big rivals in the way that they've done by, what was it in the end, 6 points. Not a good look maybe for Derek Ling. The second half performance will give them a bit of confidence, but even at that, even when they pulled the game back, you still felt like Tipperary were always largely in control, really. So yeah, and just defensively cut open far too easy at times. A little bit all over the place defensively. But I mean, still have a lot of lads obviously to come back into the side at some point. Mikey Butler went off, around the 35th, 36th minute, I think it was. Paddy Cadell, Tipperary, big injury for him. It looked like in the 5th minute, so hopefully he's okay. But all in all, Tipperary, solid performance from them. And certainly if you are a Tip fan and you are an admirer of Liam Cahill, plenty to be positive for. Keane says here, Tipperary outclassed Kilkenny from the first minute. Kilkenny came more into it in the second half, but couldn't reel Tip in. Tipperary are favourites for Division 1 on that performance. Yeah, I mean, the league is always a hard one to judge, but, I fancy Tipperary to do well in the league. Just because I think they've more to prove than a lot of other sides, and they've probably more catching up to do than other teams. And they've more, they need to try out more players. They really need to make more of an impact after what was a very disappointing year last year. And to be fair to them, they've started the league very strong, haven't they? With 2 wins from 2, and they've put themselves into a fantastic position of getting to the league semi-finals. I mean, there is that argument: do Tipperary want the league semi-final? And I suppose that's maybe a conversation for another day. But at the same time, they're looking strong. They've good depth in their squad. Still, other younger lads to maybe come into the side. I think Billy Seymour is maybe another one to maybe keep an eye on, who's kind of made an impact in the last couple of years. So there is lads to come in for Tipperary in the next couple of weeks as well. So can only be positive if you are a Tipperary supporter. So yeah, big result for Tipperary, 224 to 121. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. We'll be going live after the Galway Cork, the third coverage on TG Cahir. So stay tuned for that one as well. And see you all later.